So last year, people began testing their Stanley Cups for lead. And while this trend was being reported on for a while, it never really caught any mainstream attention up until this year, when the recent controversy surrounding the releases of the Valentine's Day Stanley happened. Now, this all really begins when a mother tested her 3-year-old Stanley bottle for lead and was horrified to discover that her test came back positive. And I'd understand why, as lead poisoning can go undetected, yeah, but it can cause a whole lot of developmental issues for the child. Now, in case you don't understand what's going on here, when you buy a lead test kit, if the Q-tip stays orange, that means it's a negative test and there's no lead. But as you can see here, this mother's Q-tip turned the absolute darkest pink imaginable, which means there's absolutely lead in that damn Stanley, and therefore should probably stop being drinking out of. Is that a word? I don't know, but we'll use that. But obviously, we can't just start mass hysteria over the result from one person, which is why several other people began testing their Stanleys as well. And it's just a little bit scary about how many people came back with positive results. Here's a woman who goes by the name of Lead Safe Mama. And she also tested her child's Stanley Cup, but it was with a different test than what we saw in the first video. Because as she claims, those tests are fraudulent. And the test that she's using is the most accurate on the market.
There we go. Slide open the sleeve and there's the yellow liquid. We put a little bit of the yellow liquid on there and we rub it. And if it turns pink or red, which it is turning pink down in there, you can see it turning pink, and you can see it turning pink here. That means that the lead is bioavailable, and if your child touched this, that they would be getting lead dust on their hands. What we need to do is advocate that all of the lead be removed from kitchenware, especially items that might be used by a child. There's no excuse for there to be lead in an item like this. Also, I want you to know the only test kits that are reasonable and that work are the lead checks. The other ones that people are using are not good. They're fraudulent test kits. They don't work. Please don't use those.
So, according to her, with the fraudulent tests, you can't really trust them because they can be fake. So we could have just written that first test off as fake. But she used the most accurate tests on the market and it still came back just as pink as the fraudulent one did. So I think that says everything. That says all you need to know. And as the slogan for that company's product is, red means lead. And of course, our Stanley Cup lead testing saga continues because there was, again, another mother who tested all of her family's Stanleys. But interestingly enough, her tests came back positive, but the color on the Q-tips was neither orange nor pink.
Listen, it is 4:30 in the morning. My husband has to go in. We're early to work. We got the whole lead test for Stanleys. As you can see, we have quite a few. We fell for the craze. I look crazy. Good news, I got the lead test. Bad news. There's color on these. They have lead in them. Do you see that? Do you see that? Throw away your Stanleys, or at least put them in a box in hopes they recall. Love somebody that did not believe this and tested it because they are hoping to have kids and have gotten like mold poisoning in the past. Thanks, Stanley.
They looked black.
I am disgusted.
Now, I tried to do some research as to what this color could possibly mean, but I came up short. I have no idea what this is supposed to indicate. And just like the video I showed you before, this woman also did her own lead test on the Stanley Cup. But one of them came back slightly pink, which by this point we all know means it's positive for lead. But the second time around, the Q-tip isn't pink. It's a very dark, deep brown.
I bought these lead tests on Amazon and I'm gonna test all the bottles. I mean, you can clearly see that the inside is activating.
It's supposed to either just be exclusively orange or pink. So what is going on with these bottles? But the craziest test that somebody did out of this entire video to me was when this woman bought a Stanley dupe, aka fake insulated cups that were literally bought from the TikTok shop. But she also tested a real Stanley Cup alongside the dupe. And the real Stanley Cup contained more lead than the fake cup that she bought from God knows where online. Oh my God.
I've seen the rumors that there is lead in the Stanleys and the dupes, and so we're gonna put it to the test and see once and for all if that is true or not. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, this is like a little pink, but not a ton. It's definitely changed a little, but this is the color that it would be if it was like lead detected. I don't know. What does half... This one is not swabbed at all. This one was from the Stanley. Okay, and now I'm gonna try the dupe. 2 seconds. That one doesn't have any pink at all. Shocked. The dupe doesn't have any pink at all. This is the Stanleys. I'm gonna lay them next to each other. This is just wet. This one was the Stanley. This one is the dupe. Okay, I'm probably gonna throw my Stanley away, I'm not gonna lie.
So there you go, people! The proof is in the pudding! Just because it's more expensive does not mean it's better. And again, like I keep repeating myself, there was yet another mother who tested her entire family's Stanley Cup collection, like every single cup they owned. I need you guys to understand that. And they all came back positive, all of them. There was not one negative test.
Okay, so everyone's talking about the lead test. So for the Stanley, so I did the Stanley. It's like a few months old. A little bit of pink on it, right? Next one is the Black Friday sale. She's been using this one like crazy. Positive again for lead. This is my husband's, which he uses routinely, and he's had for months. Yeah, definitely positive.
But you know what's funny to me about this woman's tests is the fact that with each swab, the color just gets progressively worse. Like it starts off with a light pink and then it just gets progressively more deeper. So does that mean some Stanleys just contain more lead than others? Cause babe, I'm getting confused. But if I'm being honest, the response to the possibility of Stanleys having lead in them has been absolutely hilarious. Because some people have discovered that lead could be in their Stanleys, but instead of throwing it away like you probably should, they don't really care and they continue drinking them anyway. Some people have also said it makes them feel cool that they could potentially get lead poisoning.
If my Stanley Cup has lead in it, honestly, that just makes me feel really cool. Kind of badass. Kind of old-timey and coquette, honestly.
While others have said that they are literally fine with getting lead poisoning because the Stanley Cups are just that amazing.
Like, I'm fine with lead poisoning. This thing is amazing. But this one's amazing and I love it and I'll probably get the cream color soon. So, lead poisoning got nothing on me.
And then there was somebody who needed suggestions of what to drink out of because if the Stanley is poison, then what else could she possibly drink out of?
I am so upset to find out that this has lead in it. Like, am I literally getting lead poisoning from hydrating myself? So now I'm like, okay, what water bottle am I gonna get? And I'm like, should I get the Simple Modern one? But now I'm freaking out because I'm like, well, what if I buy it and that also has lead? So I need someone who has the Simple Modern water bottle to please lead test it and reply back to this, because like, what are we supposed to be drinking out of? I'm so scared.
Let me show you something, babe. This is the All Reliable cup. Let me demonstrate how it works. Yeah. And look, while those videos, yes, are funny, it's also a little bit cultish to me, maybe. Like, is it just me who would want to avoid getting lead poisoning at all costs? Or, lastly, while a lot of these positive lead tests are circulating around the internet, there are also people who are doing these lead tests at home on their Stanleys, and they're just coming back completely negative. There's no pink on the swab at all, it just stays orange.
The Stanley Cup for lead. This is the brand I'm using to test for lead. It has good reviews and it says it works on all surfaces, but I'm not a lead expert. I'm doing this just for fun. I'm gonna rub the inside for 30 seconds. I don't think these are changing colors. This one kind of looks a little bit, the one that was put in water. Maybe I'll try one more. Yeah guys, I think the Stanley Cups are fine.
But under those videos of people getting the negative lead test on their Stanleys, there are comments saying that it's in the paint used on the Stanley Cups, not in the actual cup itself. So that just confuses things even more. So, my conclusion is, give me a drum roll. I don't know. Because here's the thing. Yes, lead is used in Stanley's products, but it's very unlikely that you, dear reader, would come into contact with the lead within the tumbler's design. If your Stanley Cup experiences extensive damage, severe misuse, or otherwise comes apart on the bottom, then I'm guessing you should throw it away at that point, because that's probably what gives you exposure to the lead. Because as the Daily Dot has said, lead solder is used to seal the bottom exterior central piece of certain Stanley Cups. This solder is not inside the tumbler, nor is the user exposed to the solder unless a Stanley tumbler undergoes damage. So should you throw your Stanley Cup away because of the lead? That's completely up to you. If you want to risk possibly getting sick, then so be it. It's your life. I can't tell you what to do. But should you throw your Stanley Cup away because it's cringe? Absolutely. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Mwah. I love you all so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.